AV set up and everybody's taking a seat. One of the things we said when we first launched the Cavalry is our fight might not be your fight, but the whole intention was try something, do something. So if you know Headhunter or Claudio, a lot of people are doing more with civil liberties or protecting dissidents, or they're doing things. Jen Ellis just presented earlier. She helps with the Cavalry, but she's also working on protecting researcher rights. So what we wanted to do is bring up a few different doers who know how to herd cats and make hacker types who don't like to join stuff do stuff important. So hopefully we have a nice little smattering here. And you guys ready to go?
I'm totally ready.
All right. So like I said, our fight might not be your fight, but try something, do something, or we can keep complaining about it.
Question? Oh, that was just the finger? Sorry.
All right, so real quick here, bios are on the site except for everyone from Wim. Down on the end, we've got Chris Nickerson, we've got Wim, we've got Beau, we've got Tod Beardsley, and I'm Tim. I just do shit, so I get volunteered and go out. So real quickly here, guys, I'm just going to throw a question out, and you guys can answer it and whatever, but what inspires you guys to get out and actually do shit rather than complain about nobody's solving problem X and I wish someone would do whatever?
Oh, if you want to start, I can. But I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, so to preempt him so that we have some time for the other panelists, I'll jump in first. One of the things that kind of drives me to go do something is, I guess it's kind of a switch, going from the sitting around in bars and feeling sorry for ourselves and commiserating over beers to like actually making the problem either less bad or at least contributing towards making it better. The reward center on my brain, I guess, at some point got flipped after doing it a couple of times, after participating a couple of times. And now, while it's nice to sit around and tell war stories, it's even nicer to go and actually work with people who have the ability to change things.
Hello. At least for me, nothing works and everything sucks, right? So when I run into this problem on, an hourly basis, I try to, solve whatever the problem is that I'm facing. And then as soon as I'm done, I realize that, it's way better to do this with an audience. And so I'm super happy to just write documentation and put in decent bug requests, bug reports and pull requests and whatever, to just try to it seems like a waste. If I'm the only one who solved this one, weird terminal problem, I'd much rather just have everyone solve it forever. And then that sucks a little bit less, a little less often. I mean, that's kind of my motivation. So
Go for it.
Hi.
The last step of AA says, having had a spiritual awakening, I'm going to go share this with other people. And I've been able to watch this community go from an amazing group of people who are constantly sharing with each other to a closed-off group of fucks who troll each other. And that was my spiritual awakening. Because I had to sit there and look at the people that I was right next to and say, wow, I'm the person who's the trolly fuck. And it makes me sick. Totally sick. And I think that all of us need to get off our fucking high horse and actually do some shit. Stop talking about it. It's ridiculous. You sit and talk at a bar about how the other people are doing things wrong when you're the asshole talking shit. And they're at least doing something. Even if they're doing it wrong, they're doing something. And you're doing nothing in judging them. And I think we do that all to our clients, and we do that all to the people that we work for, because our whole industry is built around this fucking holier than thou. I should tell you what to do without doing it, because then I'm in the mix, and we have to keep the separation of church and state, and it's all bullshit. And the thing that has inspired me are people like Wim, who looked at it and said, hey, all of us are sitting here talking shit. And then all of a sudden one day, Wim's on the other side of the table. I'm sitting there talking shit, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm talking shit about Wim. I can't do that.
You did that?
Yeah, I did. And I think this panel is a birth of that same shit-talking fiasco that we go through. And it bothers me. And I want to see it fixed. So what inspires me is the fight, knowing that I'm going to go do everything that I can, and if people don't like it, fuck them, don't care. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to go home to my wife, and the friends that I'm sitting next to aren't going to be the ones talking shit, they're going to be the ones doing something.
Oh, now it's my turn. Mental note, never talk after Nickerson, because I can basically say what he said.
Is this
People
better?
want you, Wim.
People want me. I wasn't even supposed to be here, but anyway. When I think about what motivates me to do shit is basically people that don't. And he said it more eloquently than I probably can with my funny accent. But we always talk about the echo room, and we're all talking to each other, talking shit, doing nothing, and that buzz gets deafening, right? At least for me. And those are the breaking points where I say either you partake in the bullshit and you talk shit, or you actually step out and do things, right? And I think everybody in this room can basically do that. You just have to be able to hear the bullshit, to hear the rumble, to get to that level where it hurts you, and you can either step away from it or try to make a change.
Tim, can I ask Wim a question?
Go.
Because I think
I'm
it's...
gonna let you finish.
Yeah. So I really think it'd be valuable for people to understand. Like, if you guys don't know who Wim Reams is,
Who doesn't know?
well, you know, it's hard, but there's probably one that's been in a rock or something. Yes. See, she can't even joke about it. No, but what I would love to hear, because I, even being your friend, don't know how it worked, from you sitting there talking smack on ISC to being on the fucking board. And that, to me, was an inspiring thing that I know nothing about, that I think it'd be really interesting to hear something about.
Okay. For me, it's quite the same story as I just said. I was a CISSP. I certified in 2006. It was around 2010, 2011. Everybody was talking shit about IC2. Me too. I was complaining about submitting my CPEs and not getting anything back from it, right? And then I heard about what was able with the petition. I was like, why don't I try it? Either you try it or you don't. And I get very Yoda-esque when I say that. Do or do not, there is no try, right? I'm a little bit taller than not when I sit here. And it was just that moment where you decide either you talk bullshit about an organization that you're not really involved in. I pay my AMS, I submit my CPEs, but I cannot critique people that actually try to do things while not trying to do things myself. And for me, the best way was to run that petition and try to get on the board, which then happened, and then that's where the difference lies, I think. You have action and reaction, and a lot of our industry is about reaction, and very few people in our industry are about action. And action is about not really knowing where you go. I didn't know where I was going when I went on the IATC board. And it's basically jumping in the deep, and you can hurt yourself very badly, but you can also end up in a better place. And that's basically the way I think about trying to get involved in things rather than step away from it and point at it from a distance.
Thank you. Because I didn't know that.
No.
No. Sorry, Tim.
We got a question.
I
Come
agree.
sit down. You want to take my place?
Patches accepted.
I agree. The Lady Wim.
Have one. This panel started because Tim... You can.
Everybody can.
No, we could talk. Come on, it's cool. So all right. That's a awesome segue to things. No. Hold on one second, because that is an awesome segue. The reason that we started doing B-sides, the whole reason, is because talk started getting like this, where no one said shit. And the fact that you're talking is the thing that needs to fucking happen all the time, and it doesn't. Like, that's... fuck all you guys sitting there. Seriously? No, I'm not fucking kidding. Like, if I get one meaningful talk out of sitting here talking to you about this, I don't give a fuck who's in the room. They can hang out and listen. They'll get something from it. Don't say it that way. People are gonna think about it. Don't get in the position. Get in the chair. Guard yourself, woman. See, now you have to
Take your chair and sit here.
see. Now just kick Tim out. You need the podium.
Maybe there is somebody else who is gender identified as a female who would like to. I mean, I don't know how to say this without insulting anyone. So, anyone whose chromosomes are XX or something would like to be the female on this panel. I'm always like the only female in the panels that I'm at. Okay.
How do you think the black people feel?
Please do.
Okay.
Please
I mean,
do.
there's way less of them.
Okay. So I just.
Yeah, Darren, can you come up here and be the black guy?
You know,
Can someone else come be PC?
This is
You're
now
the
a
Indian
diversity
guy.
panel.
Can we make this more fucking PC, please?
well, it's not a diversity panel, but the industry needs all kinds of people.
I agree with you 100%. And that you doing something is where that starts.
Okay,
and I
sit
appreciate
there.
that.
If I have a question that I want to respond to,
I want you to participate as part of us because all of us are in this together. This isn't a talk from us to them. It's all of us talking to figure out how the
Also,
fuck
I can
we
do this
something.
here. I can sit
You can
here.
do it there.
Also,
Hell yeah.
grab the mic. Participate.
They were
How can you help?
Is this on? I hope so. Yep. So I want to commend this little theater. This was a hack. This wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't planned. Doesn't fit the PC thing. This is exactly how doing starts the first time. Somebody hacks something together. It's not adequate. It's not the right person. We should have this. But then you build on that, and you build on that, and you build on that.
True that.
There's a saying in improv, you can't say no. You have to say yes, but. So if someone comes up with a really stupid idea, you can't say, no, that idea sucks. You have to say, yes, I like that idea, but what if we changed this about it?
Yeah.
It's
So
actually
instead of
yes
shutting
and.
it down, you open the dialogue.
Sorry, it's actually yes and.
Yes, and?
Yes and, not yes but.
That's
See?
just the
Took some
best.
improv classes.
Building off of it.
So one of the other questions I've had for the panel here was,
Look at Josh's face.
so everyone up here has done a lot of stuff. Chris was involved with starting B-Sides ages ago. He helped start PTES. Beau's helped start. Sorry, brain
I
fart.
am the cavalry.
I Am The
It's called
Cavalry.
I am the cavalry.
I'm not as familiar with what's Tod started, but I personally have been involved with B-Sides for a number of years because someone said, hey, we need volunteers, let's go do something. Hackid, when that first came out, I'd been talking to a small group of people about doing that, and then Chris Hoff said, I'm doing this. One of my friends said, hey, Chris Hoff's doing that. I picked up the phone and said, I don't care where it is, what's going on, I'm involved in that. So for me, whenever I've heard about something I wanted to be involved in, I've just jumped and done it. But what a lot of people don't realize is when you say, we're having a B-Sides or I Am The Cavalry's doing something, is a lot of work has gone in place behind that. So how long would you say it takes before you go public on something that you've been working behind the scenes, gathering momentum, bringing people in?
Yeah, I'd say there's not a defined time period, but there is a lot of work that needs to go in behind the scenes. One of the things that I've noticed about some of the most effective leaders in my past life is that they never have an idea spring forth from their head like Athena from Zeus's head that tends to break your skull open and you don't have such a good day after that. But instead, they take a small idea, work it around, curate it, talk it over with different people. and then by the time they get to actually bringing it to fruition, it's been vetted. You've had a pen test on the idea, basically. And then when it comes out, it's much, much better. You have people who are willing to jump in and do things, to get involved. So you kind of, you know when the time is right, because there's not a lot of change in the idea each time you go around to one of your colleagues or friends and give them the 60-second overview. And a lot of the times I've been on the receiving end of that, and I've heard the idea iterate 3 or 4 times through the cycle. And each time it gets better, and I want to get more involved in it.
So I completely disagree. There is a time limit. It's 90 days. Like 90 days. So
just like vulnerability disclosure?
Just like, sort of, yeah, for like the wussy ones. But yeah, 90, because there's value in you know, having like something articulate that you can put out there. But if you go from like day 1 to day 90 and you haven't made enough progress to like tell someone about it, you're not going to do it. And so move on, and that's fine. You're allowed to do that, and just move on to something else. Like I suck at nearly everything in the world. I'm okay at like 1 or 2 things. Thank you. Yes, I'm terrible at most tasks, and so I need to tell people about, you know, things and have at least some kind of structure and framework. It could be just like a mailing list, it could be an IRC channel, it doesn't matter. But as long as you go from, because if you keep your idea like secret to yourself and private to like you and your 3 friends or whatever, and you don't ever talk about it, it's so easy to walk away from it too. Because once you say it in public, now you're committed. Now you've got something riding on it. So. Yeah, 90. Like president gets 100 days. Like president gets 100 days to do something cool. Everybody else gets 90 days.
I can ask question. So,
yes.
The question is like following. I get a lot of emails from hackers all over the world, or people that want to be hackers. Actually, I get emails from people that want to be hackers. And you know, it sounds like something bad to say, like a wannabe hacker. But actually, these people are asking me, how do I get started? What do I do? I want to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. And the people in this room, they're already here. They're in Vegas. They're like in the midst of it. They're hearing you guys, you know. How do we, I don't know. But I mean, there's local B-Sides events and stuff like that. But there is really, you know, no solution to this question. And people ask me, I'm like, well, go read about this, do that, learn some shit. Do TCP/IP, Unix, you know, I got to give them a bunch of different advice, which is also not one solution fits everyone. So if you have any ideas on that, because I think we got to make some more hackers out there.
For me, it starts with community. You know, when I go to conferences, I talk to people and I network people. And then I go other places and meet other people. And I was on the flight up here, and someone's like, oh, I'm in Ohio, and I'm a programmer, and I'm really interested in security. I'm like, great. I said, here's my card. Send me an email, and I said, I will reach out to my community, and I will find out people who are in Ohio, and what B-Sides is going on, what ISSA meetings, what local security groups are there, and I will point you to those people, and I will say, hey, here's a guy, he's interested, you know, bring him in. And from that standpoint, even just simply an introduction to people in the area helps.
The last time that we asked that question, some really awesome people stepped up, and they made this thing called DEF CON. And we fucked it up. And we did a bunch of other things, fucked that up. And then we asked the question again, so we were like, we should just make more of those, because it worked for like a minute. Then we screwed that up. So we're like, yeah, we should do it the same way, but different. And we did B-Sides, and now we fucked that up.
There is
I'm over it. I think we have conferenced ourselves to death. And
build castles?
Huh?
Do you also build castles?
I wish. because you and I would have to live in it. No, I think it's time for us to stop hiding amongst ourselves and start figuring out who's next to us. I think if all of us in the room had anything that we could take away from all being in a room together, is find people that are sitting next to you and figure out who the fuck they are and how you can benefit from each other, because absolutely all of you can give something to someone else. It doesn't matter what you do or how you do it, you can do that. And the fact that you sit here and ignore the people next to you, ignore the people behind you, and wait for somebody to sit up here and talk and then walk out of the fucking room and hide again is why everything's screwed up.
Yes, we have audience participate. I'm sorry, didn't want to cut you off.
Please.
But participation.
Always happy to cut you off.
Flip the switch.
He can Kanye me anytime.
Omel,
Other switch.
come. Use this.
All
This
right.
is my friend Omel.
Hey, always happy to cut you off. I wanted to talk about what you said about the how long before it starts to become real, and then participation with locals. A few years ago, I think it was 2011, a bunch of us in Israel were sick and tired of the way the operation of security response and responding to hacks and breaches were going on. And Ian and a bunch of us got together. I think it was 5 or 6 of us at first, and we said, let's fuck it. Let's just build our own cert, voluntary, because the government wasn't doing anything. And after spreading the word and starting to just opening a mailing list and a Facebook group, we got more and more participation. So it got its own life after a few months, and just soared forward. So it's all about just making that first move and getting the word out there, and it becomes its own thing. So,
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, at some point, it was. You got to stop saying. You got to stop giving up about the situation and being sick and tired of it, and start, fixing it, or at least trying.
So can the outcome of this be all of us rap with each other and find resources to do things together instead of hiding? I mean, even if we just we're doing it in this room, right? Like whatever for anybody else, but like I don't know how we do shit anymore. I feel like every time I talk to somebody, they're like, yeah, and then they go back and they're like, oh, I was super busy, and I. So
it's about making that change and realizing that if you're too busy and we're all too busy, nothing's going to happen.
Agreed.
And it's just about that first step, small first step. And all of a sudden you found we were 5 of us at the beginning. There's over 100 right now.
Yeah.
All supporting and volunteering. They're all doing just a tiny bit, but together it's a five-person full-time job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're making an effort, and by now the government stepped up and they're putting budget on it, and we're in the midst of transitioning our work to the government.
That's
and
awesome. Wow.
So stuff are happening, and because just a few people got fed up by nothing going on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's just making that first step.
Jealous.
So one thing I have to say about that is that ties in really heavy to the 90 days. Even if you're really busy, if you find something you want to do and you say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to sleep but 4 hours a night for the next 90 days or whatever it is because something really makes you passionate, and you start going and you bring it out to the community, and all of a sudden people join in, you can then do less because they're doing a little bit more. So 5 minutes from you.
So I don't know.
I feel like go early, go often works because
absolutely.
Because like I don't
90
know,
days is a max. Like a
when
week is
when
way
we did the P test thing, literally I was pissed off one night and I fucking had it. And I was sitting and I'm staring at my computer and I was looking at a bid that somebody else put up and I'm like, what the fuck is this crap? Like, what are they doing? And was pissed, and I was just like, okay, fine. Email 15 people. Here's what I want to start. Are you down with this? Yes. Now, I had accountability. And once other people were holding me accountable, it was actually putting my ass in gear to fucking finish.
It becomes a snowball, and it never stops.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
it's making that first step, and you're amazed at how many people join you.
I
join
agree.
the effort
I totally
and make
agree.
it happen.
I think a really cool thing would be to put together some kind of a tactical playbook for changing the world. Like, what have we done that's worked?
I'm about it.
And how do we replicate it? Stand up a wiki or whatever with examples and methods.
He knows. He's forgotten more than I've done in my life. You, fuckface.
If I may, what you did was you were the cavalry.
Render?
In my opinion, just stepping up and doing something. You are the cavalry. Even if I don't know if you have joined officially or you call yourself, but in my opinion, you're the cavalry. That's all that's needed. Stepping up, doing something.
Exactly.
And you know what? If you don't have to step up, don't get in other people's way.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't talk shit on them, at
Absolutely.
least.
You're busy and others. Don't roadblock everybody.
Why waste your time by bringing somebody down?
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah, exactly. And that's we have a lot of distractors in our community too.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's
I'll,
because so many of the guys are running around in kilts and stuff.
It's
got nice
all
legs.
the
What is it?
balls. We need more girls. Help us.
Need more of everybody. Like anybody.
good. We need more. We need more of everybody.
Yeah.
So to
We're,
ask
like,
a
resource depleted.
Yeah. So to ask, kind of a hard question. You're sitting here saying, have a duocracy of just fucking do it, right?
I mean, I didn't use those
in
words. They just
so
put it
many
on the fucking
things.
sign.
I mean, there's some consensus here. I mean,
Yeah.
the talk is called about the duocracy, right? But yet, there's a bunch of examples lately that in the media and everything of people who saw something and the only way they could prove it was to just fucking do it, and are getting a bunch of shit for it. So where's the line?
So,
yeah.
So for me, that line
I
is
want you to answer that.
if you're going and acting completely on your own volition, completely on your own terms, and really unilaterally, then anymore, that's kind of a recipe for failure. Going and teaming with other people who can help you accomplish the goal is a recipe for success.
I mean, we've got this nascent thing with I Am The Cavalry, and there's some other initiatives going on. There was a Commerce Department thing that they were mentioning earlier that are just starting to now exist, but there hasn't been any, who the hell do I reach out to with my air traffic control research? There hasn't been anybody, basically. So it's kind of I'm like, what the hell do I do? I want to see this fixed. I gotta.
Okay, so can we have an I Am The mailing list and figure that out? I mean, seriously, I'm not fucking joking, Josh. I'm not. Can you guys do something?
I want to respond.
Why isn't
quickly
this the
to
foundation of what the fuck you did in the beginning? No, now I want to know. Now I'm pissed.
This is the first time I haven't seen this.
Oh, shut up.
You have a mailing list. What are you talking about?
Just to respond quickly. Chris, shut up.
How does he submit his research? Cue Ian.
Fuck you.
Yes, honey, go ahead.
I agree with just, stepping up and doing, but as Beau said, if you just do it on your own volition and you don't understand that you're also hacking the industry, the process, the environment that you're in, you're bound to fail. It happened the same with the CERT in Israel. It happened the same with setting up the DEF CON group. It happened the same with PTES.
Yeah.
If we would just say fuck it and do it and try to ruin something and just do it in spite of something, it's going to be great for like 5 minutes and then you're done. If you're hacking whatever it is, airplanes, cars, snails, I don't know what, and you're just, I'm going to fuck with the industry and just drop an OD, guess what? You're not going to get a lot of cooperation. But if you figure out that you need to hack that system, so when we did CERT, we hacked the government. We hacked the process around it. We hacked, the people that were involved. And it took a lot of time and effort and getting pissed and sitting in stupid meetings, in committees and whatever it is, and setting up a non-for-profit that we started shelling out money for, because that's part of the process. And that's how you embed yourself into that process, by hacking into it. If you just come up and say, you know what, I have some technical whiz-bang O-day, boom, I crapped on your table, and now I'm out of here, yeah, you're not going to get a lot of...
So does that mean planning with accountability?
I know, it's adult shit, but...
I know it's adult shit, but...
Let me interject.
We're all getting old at some point.
One of the first things, I think Josh, you said it at the beginning.
Omer, he was first.
One sentence? Sorry. Just to
Don't listen.
You said that you apologized for using the word cyber, I think. Was that you? Or? And I agree with that. That's the thing. It's about, if you're going to change something that's wrong, you gotta play their game, right? And you got to speak the same language. Otherwise, you're not going to get hurt. If you're going to come and say, this is fucked, let's fix it, and this is how I will fix it, and this is how it should be, no one's going to listen. You're going to just swim against the stream. But if you join... if you can't beat them, join them.
That's the longest sentence.
That's a long sentence.
That's a really long sentence.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I agree.
I just want to tag on to what the previous gentleman said, and argue in favor of a long game. So I've been working since 2007 on metrics, risk analysis, incentives. We're nowhere close to being done with that. Mm-hmm. It's realistically a 20-year project, 25-year project. While 90-day projects are fantastic and really useful, not everything fits in that box. Mm-hmm. If you try to take on something like, I want to change the government, I want to change laws, I want to change how decisions are made in these long-standing institutions, and you try to do that in 90-day pieces, you're going to be splat against the wall.
That's the war, this battle, too. I think
Can I ask
So
you how?
I am strongly in favor, and actually part of my my academic work is studying how these processes change, and artful integration of lots of small changes combined with a long game, I think, is the best combination. Yeah.
With you having that experience, can I ask you how you started the enrollment process to get people prepared to play a long game and not have instant gratification? Because I think that's part of our problem, right? Is I release an O-Day, bam, what's up? You know, and they're like, ooh, media, blah, and then it goes away. And like I think that there's the instant gratification thing that we have to deal with, and it sounds like you've breached that hurdle before.
Which, by the way, like
So,
the instant
you know, the
gratification
road-
part is the attractive bit of hacking. You know, that's what makes it not software engineering.
Totally. No, I
So
agree.
you know the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote? I
Yes.
was willing to be Wile E. Coyote for a long time. So I built crap, I hurl myself against the wall.
Yeah.
And by that I mean, so I come in from the business side. I'm not a hacker from way back. I can't crack cryptography. So I come in from the business side. And for about 3 years, I spent time saying, has anybody thought about this? Has, tried this approach? Is this a problem?
Right.
And I got blank stares. I got doors closed in my face. I got, you don't have the right training, so I'm in a PhD program. So just a lot of personal commitment and persistence and connecting with a few people here and there, and more of those people find people. So it's...
So you feel like your support structure helped you play the long game?
Yeah, but I had to make myself connect to what
I mean, you
support
could
there
be Cyber
was.
Jesus and nail
It
yourself
wasn't
to the
like
cross.
I got
That's
a bunch
fine.
of light
I'm just-
bulbs and I'm going to bring people along. I had to connect with a lot of people, some of the people here in the room. I had to learn from them. I had to, basically get the practical experience and raise myself to the point where I could start doing some things.
You learned the system, right? Sounds like you learned the system.
Well, and I'm also trying to hack it at the same time. So some other people created Society of Information Risk Analysts around a bar, and it's now turning into a thing. We have an annual conference. We have a mailing list. It's actually a productive resource for people that are doing this inside of companies.
Awesome.
All right, right quick before we
Josh
get to
has
the
a
next
question.
question, just so you guys know, we are at
Josh
our
has a
time at
question.
12:30, but we're going into lunch. If you'd like to stay, please do and continue the conversation.
Josh, what were you going to say?
Just gonna answer your question. So real fast, yeah, the whole platform was collecting existing research and researchers, connecting them to each other and teammates in industry, and then forming collaboration vehicles to make things safer sooner. The reason that car stuff happened is Craig Smith was so generous with his time. The Tesla guys were open, the GM guys were open. We started doing stuff. There's one of the guys over here is from the medical industry. That's another reason it got heat and light. So if you'd like to start an aviation project, there's a guy from aviation industry tonight. We'll start the project tonight.
Josh, is
I don't
there
think
a
we'll
way
fly
to
home to
make you
realize
not the
after this.
barrier?
What?
Is there a way to make you not the barrier? Because if he had that information 6 months ago, the project would already be started. So what I'm asking to everyone in this room is how do we fix that right now? Not tomorrow, not, oh yeah, we'll make something. What's the answer that all of us are going to go, yeah, that makes sense to me, and start fucking doing it?
Yeah, previous gentleman was talking about getting into the system, hacking the system from the inside, long game and everything like that. But there's certain things that can't wait for that long game.
Totally
There's
agree.
more immediate problems.
Totally agree.
And what I've been experiencing is where you're just bashing into that wall of you're one guy who came up with something, started asking questions, and just bashing into this wall.
Yeah.
That you are so low on their totem pole they don't even respond to your emails and stuff like that. Though you may end up on a couple of watch lists, but
Well, and I feel like some of the stuff that the Cavalry's been doing is giving us extensions into the totem pole that we don't have access to.
Yeah, and I mean,
right?
this
And-
is, but I'm
and-
saying that this is really nascent. That, as you said,
Right.
6 months ago, this may not have been a possibility. So
Right.
Exactly.
Nick?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to jump in with these previous two talks. Is I work at a major medical device manufacturer, and I've been connected through Josh and Beau for about a year or two now, and been working for a year trying to drive change. And we're talking about all this change from the outside, but the inside is where you need to be as well. You need that champion in the companies connected. I mean, I walk around my company and I can count in one hand how many people I could call quote unquote hackers that would even understand what BSides is, even understand what this stuff is. And most of these big companies, that's how they are. People in this room, a lot of them are in some of those companies and a lot of them aren't. And you can't find those champions because the companies are so large. if you can find 1 or 2 champions at a company and connect with the folks in this room, that's how you kind of build it out. That's what we need.
I agree. Instead of talking, what are we going to do about this? Like if we got anything from this panel, which I assumed there was going to be nothing, and I'm shocked. But if we get anything from this, like, what are we going to do coming out of this?
So one of the things, and this touches on what the young lady was saying, right? We need to get more people involved.
I ain't that young, honey.
Yeah, but I've got
And
a
I
gray
ain't no
beard.
lady either.
And I've got a gray beard, and you're young. So one of the things that we've got to do, though, is get more people involved that think differently than the way we do. Because when we go ahead and we circle the wagons here, we're probably about 90% technically oriented. I mean, we're going to have a few folks that go ahead and cross that line. But as the gentleman before me went ahead and mentioned, in his organization, they may do medical devices. They may only have a few folks that go ahead and really get technically, when we say technically, oriented. But they have a lot of folks that have problems all the time. And I guarantee you, most everybody in here works in an environment or touches base with an environment where people have problems, and they come to you and say, hey, can you help me out? And we go down the rabbit hole. We go technical, and they glaze over, and we don't show them how to get the answer. We give them the answer. And by giving them the answer, what we've gone and done is we've skipped that step, that educational step, that exposure step, where they actually kind of get it. They see the tip of the iceberg. They're not going to be able to go ahead and understand what you're doing to the level that you do, but they're going to understand that there's something that they're missing, and it's going to start a conversation. It's going to start an exposure.
So we got to ease into it.
Let me just nutshell that. Basically, we need, us and them both need to be more accepting of outside opinions and views, and we can help each other. Like, we're all in this together. So
That's the point right there, Enderman. It's not us and them. It's we, man.
Right, it's them and them.
So real quick.
I think it's just
them and me.
I think it's all of us, man.
No, so back to we're just sitting here talking and not doing shit.
We are doing shit.
No, we're not. You're not. You're
Not
just
here
fucking
right
talking.
now,
You're not doing
but
anything.
later we will.
Okay.
So this afternoon.
Here's something.
We're all agreed that this is a waste of time.
I am going to.
Let's go have lunch.
After this, we're going to do something.
Yeah, I'm.
No, we've got
I'm
schedules
going to put
this
out
afternoon.
a challenge. Tim, shut it. I'm going to put out a challenge to you then. Whatever magic mailing list, communication, fucking smoke signal bullshit that comes out of this that allows us to connect, whatever that is, website, chat server, whatever the fuck it is, fine.
IRC is pretty cool.
I know. I like RC, right? Like, I want someone to set up something so that people can connect. I want people to connect to it. And then I want every single person in this room, if you're still here, if you actually want to go do something, I want the first thing that you do to bring somebody who has nothing to do with InfoSec into that communication platform.
Hey, hells yeah. I applaud
Right?
that,
You're into
sir.
that? Yep.
Yeah, let's
Right
just
here.
go become, make more.
Done. Seriously.
Bring
And
people
if you,
in.
And if you don't, get the fuck out and let us do a work. But please don't join if you're not going to do it.
And I think this afternoon is a good way to test that, because we have specifically set aside two-hour blocks to come up with some of those things. How do we get those people all together in the right place? How do we identify leadership? How do we build a team that's not just us, that's more than just us?
Who knows how to build an IRC server?
It's called Slack.
You do. Are you putting your hand up because you're building our IRC server?
We'll use Slack.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Are you or are you not going to build our IRC server? Answer the question.
Slack
Why
is
are you
up.
pointing at someone else? This is a do thing, not an outsource thing, Nick.
It exists. It is
You got
extant.
it.
Okay.
Done. All right. It's whatever. You know what? If we need something new, we need something new. There.
Can I ask the audience to do something for a second if you're still in the room? Just put your hand up in the air. Let's stretch out for a little bit. Few people, put your hands up in the air.
Thank you.
You're all volunteers now. Congratulations. That is the Israeli way. You have been deputized.
How old are you? Here, put this on.
So just one thing I wanted to say. You said you were doing research on air traffic. So the reason why, up until about a couple of weeks ago, we didn't know anybody tightly involved in that industry. So I got invited by Karen to go speak at a conference in Israel, so I had to get on a plane and fly for 17 hours. I spoke
Tel
about the
Aviv is
cavalry
far away.
at the 5th Annual Cybersecurity Summit at Tel Aviv University. After my talk, someone from a major airline association came up to me and handed me their business card and said, let's get in touch. I want to help collaborate and help out. So up until a couple of weeks ago, we didn't know who that person was. And they're actually here this week. And Beau has been in communications. I connected him with Beau, and they're going to meet, I think, tonight, right? Yeah, so I mean, that's how, so in the future, like those types of things, that sort of, like that things that just happen.
Just come to Tel Aviv. The magic happens there.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And
I
the
guess
crazy.
what to say is, the point is, we have a mailing list that exists today. There's about 400 people that are on it. If anybody in this room they're doing research, they want to get in touch with somebody, mail to that mailing list, and we can help facilitate that connection. There are some people who we speak to that are at various companies, that are part of associations. There's some sensitivities because sometimes they're stepping out of their role or they're doing things that are out of their chain of command within their company to be able to try to foster that mission and that message internally. So we can't just publish a list that says, here's all the people at all the major companies and major initiatives that want to help. But we can connect you with them behind the scenes and get you connected with them.
Yeah, if you guys are LFG, definitely post, and we will look for contacts in those industries to help put you guys in touch.
What is LFG?
That's how I was
Look for group. Look, it's a slang out of like MMOG.
Looking for?
Online games. Looking for group.
Ah.
So if you're looking for, I need to connect to somebody in the shoemaking industry because whatever. Post your information. Say, I'm doing research on this. I'm looking for people in industry, and we will help facilitate that.
It's like put up the bat sign. Yeah.
And Intel Dildonics. Oh man, actually,
Does this work? Also, recently, a cert for IoT specifically was started in France called digitalsecurity.fr, and they have joined Am The Cavalry, and they will also help with connecting you if need be.
Okay, so we're all gonna bring someone new to the party, and we're gonna who is not in
You're
InfoSec.
plus one. You're plus ones.
Yeah, we have to expose new people because like our blood is getting so tainted with the alcohol and sorrow that we put into it that we need to do a Keith Richards and like get a transfusion of people.
So I actually do DevOps. I'm not a security professional.
Awesome.
So what I've done in Boston is created the Kali
So
Linux.
his opinion matters. Other people, seriously, shut up.
So in Boston, I've created the Kali Linux users group, and the best I've done is teach people. You know, it's one thing to go to a workshop and say, hey, look at me drop this ODay, look at me do this crazy SQL injection, you know, crazy attacks. But it's another thing to actually have them put their hands on the keyboard and type it themselves.
Agree.
Completely changes their
All
opinion.
right, so is the cavalry prepared or thought about having all of us who are now in this collaboration group of doing shit, teaching classes for free?
If you have
Is that
$90,
free?
you can go on meetup.com, make a brand new group that you can teach. In Boston, I was given free groups space at Mozilla. Recently, GoDaddy, free pizzas, free craft beer.
Awesome. Can you teach us how to do that?
Seriously, it's really easy. You
I'm
just talk to people.
I'm not lying. I'm asking you, can you literally teach us how to do that? Because
It's what you guys mentioned earlier, too. You go out to the events, and the thing is, I go to the other tech events in Boston. I go to the developer events, sysop events, testing events. You meet other people in IT, and a lot of them are really interested in security. So the point I want to make, too, is that I've actually applied to be a pen tester at a handful of security companies. I'm going to say something you guys don't want to hear. The salary they offered me is half of what I make as a developer.
Absolutely.
To become an entry pen tester. So the solution I found was to move laterally in the
Hackers
industry.
are terrible at salary negotiations.
No
too.
shit.
Yeah. I've heard the churn and burn. You get some cheap college kids, burn them out every 3 years. The ones that survive, they move on. But that's a whole other discussion. So I think telling people that want to get into security, move laterally. You're a sysop that knows security, become a sysop at a security company. You're a Java developer that knows security, become a Java developer at a security company.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Some of the most
come defend something.
fulfilling, at least for me, talks and lectures and trainings that I've given have not been at security conferences. They're at developer conferences. Like I go to the Ruby
They're
stuff.
way
all the-
more rewarding.
Yeah, they're super rewarding. Because when you go to a security conference, everybody already knows everything and nobody cares, right? Because it's all broken and forever. And but when you go to I did a thing in a local Austin Ruby thing of describing like what happens between opening your laptop and posting to GitHub, like every step. The thing takes like an hour and a half to go through, and it was great. It was really great. It was like really high energy. Got a lot of feedback. It's like, oh, I had no idea that we had to trust like ARP and DHCP and DNS and all this other crap, So it was so if you do nothing else and you are InfoSec, if you want to go find your +1, you can be the +1 to like a whole bunch of devs,
Yes.
So
this may be cliche, but not enough people do it yet. I asked the question. We have over over 2,000 security conferences every year. So
it's not quite enough, but
so I basically said like, what if we had 1/10 of that many? What would we do instead? And so we used to say, go speak at one non-security conference, like a medical conference, auto. We've been doing a ton of those this year.
Yeah.
Developer, that's how I met, a lot of the DevOps folks. We go to developer shows. I actually think that's too modest. I'm trying to make sure half of the conferences I go to aren't security conferences.
You need to play the other side. You don't speak at security conferences
at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't.
No
think
more
we'd
free
lose that
talks.
much If we had.
I think this panel's over if we're not talking to security conferences.
Yeah.
Does that include this panel?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you know what?
This is it. That's the end.
Yeah. That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's lunch.